Hello everyone. In this video, I would like to give you a short tour of the so-called GeoGebra sites from which most, if not all, of the questions discussed in this channel actually come from. Right, so there are actually two sites. They actually mirror each other, or they contain exactly the same thing. Right, the first one is this. If you open up the link, right at the top, you see all this what we call Geogebra Book. All right, you can see from the word that is written here. If you scroll down, you can see all the activities. Do not be bothered by this, right? Because all these activities of files, all right, they are actually contained within these books. Major site is this. As you can see, it looks very similar. What is different is merely the accessibility of the books, right? For example, let me go back to the first one. Here, the mathematics books can be accessed by simply clicking on it, right? So when you click on it, you are immediately inside the book, right? Whereas on the other side, right, when you click on it, all right, you have to do take a few more steps in order to get to the book, right? For example, here I have to click on this menu button, all right, go to details, and then go to view book, right? Then I'll get the same thing. Now let's let's go into one of the books, right? Topical O-level elementary mathematics, right? Let's see what is inside. Right, so once you open up a book, you can see on the left hand side are all the chapters that can be found inside the book. Right, so when you click on it, you can immediately see all the activities of files that are found inside that chapter. Right, and at the same time, on the right hand side, you can see a preview of all the questions that are found inside the chapter. Right, so now since we are here, I want to touch a little bit on the naming convention. I think this one is quite obvious, right? EM will stand for elementary mathematics, AM additional mathematics, H2M will be H2 mathematics A level, and then PSLE mathematics. Right? If you see the year number, it means it is an exam question taken from that year. Right? P1 will of course means paper 1, and Q16 is the question number. Alright, so I need to highlight that not all questions are actually covered. Right? The very simple, very basic type of questions will not be covered. Now I want to explain the structure of most of the questions that you can find in this book. Alright, typically you will find a new problem button and the answer button. Every time you click on the new problem button, the numbers that are being used in the question will change. Right? And then when you click on the answer, you'll get the corresponding answer. Right? Now the reason why I design it to be this way is because I think most teachers can identify with it. So when we teach students new things, or when they learn new things, if we do not follow it up with practice, very likely they will forget things very quickly. All right, most of the time, maybe next week when we encounter the same thing, they may have forgotten the whole thing, and we teachers will have to repeat the whole explanation again. All right, so the idea is once the student once we have explained some concept or how to solve a new problem, it is best that we ask the student to do similar questions, right, but using a different number so that they cannot copy wholesale. All right, so when we change the numbers, the students will have no choice but to go through the entire thinking process by themselves. All right, depending on the question, sometimes they may need to do it once, sometimes more than once, but the moment they can do the entire problem all by themselves, I think it will do a lot of good to them. They will remember better, and it will also boost their confidence. I want to show you another example. In this example, you can see that when you click the new problem button, not only are the numbers changed, but the problem change a little bit. You can see the lower quadrant All right, this one is outside, and while this one is inside. All right, so sometimes depending on the problem, you may get this sort of changes, slight changes, whenever you click the new problem button. The example I want to show, because GeoGebra can actually simulate or draw 3D diagrams. Right, so you can see on the right hand side, this is 3D. Right, so you can rotate it, you can zoom in and out. Right, and if you need to, you can also actually shift it laterally as well as vertically. You need to also press the shift button. Right, you can see that the icon appears, and then you can shift the thing sideways, and if you were to click it again, you can see the icon change, and now you can shift it up and down. All right. Not all books contain exam questions. For example, if you were to look at this book, you will find other activities, other type of activities. All right, so I'm going to show you a few of them. For example, this one is plotting of graph. All right, it is, I think, quite a useful teaching tool for teachers, because you can change this this equation for the graph quite readily. All right, for example, this one I want to change it to maybe a quadratic equation. So I can type in x, and then power is with this symbol, which you can find in number 6, but you have to press the shift button, press 2, and then maybe plus 5x minus 3. Right, the moment you click, you can see that the graph changes. Right, then you can also change the range for your graph, and you can immediately see the table being filled up accordingly. Right, and then this one also allows you to include a second function, usually a straight line, so that you can find the point of intersection. Right, you can click the show about the second function or not, and then you can include the tangent, triangle. All right, you can draw the tangent at whichever point you want. Let's say at point 1. Right, you can change the size of the tangent. Right, so this is a different type of activity that you can find in the book. This is on sets, and this one is interesting. Right, so this one is, I think, it covers all the various possibilities for a Venn diagram with 2 events. Right, so you can change them. Every time you click, you'll get a different one. Then you can check on the answer. Right, this one is another one quite useful for teaching purposes, or maybe setting of questions. Right, you can change the whatever that you want here. Right, let's say I include 12. Right, so when I draw the Venn diagram, you see the number 12 has been included. Right, you can shift these dots around. Okay, so maybe I include another one here. So let's say 6 is included here. Right, so when you draw, 6 is included inside. This one is interesting. It is a simulation for a very popular the ice cream problem. All right, so let's try 200, increase the number of trials, then start the simulation. Okay, you can see that the frequency table is being updated as the simulation goes on. Right, so let's see what the final answer is from a random process as compared to the actual answer. Right, so it is quite close. 0.694 is the actual answer, and simulation give us 0.703. Statistics. Right, this one is for frequency, cumulative frequency. Right, so every time you click, the shape is changed. And then when you click on the answer, you'll get your frequency table and so on. And the last one here is hypothesis testing. Right, so here you can choose which type you want, left tail, right tail, or two tail. Right, every time you click, you will cycle through the various possibilities. whether to reject or not to reject the null hypothesis, right? So I end this video. Let's take a look at the physics book. Right, you may find some very interesting simulation of physics in physics. Right, for example, this is AC generator. It is a 3D version of it. What is interesting is that it allows you to control the rotation, the angle of rotation. Right. This is the same thing, but DC motor. Right, you can also control the angle of rotation. Right, in this chapter on wave and light, there are several other simulation. For example, this one is on converging lenses. Every time you see a button like this, it means you can change the value. All right, the same here. You can change the values. Right, let's take a look at another one, mirror reflection. Right here, you can change the angle of the mirror, you can change the size and shape of the object, and then you can also choose the 4 different types of rays. Right, ray 1, ray 2. If you're a physics teacher, you will know what this means. Right, and measurement. This is the micrometer screw gauge. Right, every time you click on the new problem, it will change, and then you can get your students to enter the reading here. All right, whatever reading, and then you show the reading. If it is correct, then it will say it is right. Right, you can also control it manually here. And this is the vernier calipers. Right, so I hope this short video will help you to understand a little bit better as to how these sites and books are structured. Right, I know it can be a little bit daunting because there are so many activities that can be found here. I hope that you find the channel as well as the sites useful in your teaching and learning. Right, so thank you for listening.